Following the mass shootings last month in Dayton, Ohio, and El Paso, Texas, some Democrats are pushing hard for the adoption of a federal red flag law. You may have heard the phrase. What is that exactly? Well, a red flag law would allow police to seize a person's guns without convicting or even charging that person with any crime. All they need to do is decide that that person is a threat to public safety. Beto O'Rourke is a big fan of red flag laws. He says they will dovetail perfectly with his other big policy idea, which is seizing Americans' guns outright.
Not only must we have universal background checks and red flag laws, but we've also got to do this. We've got to stop selling weapons of war. And the millions of weapons of war that are out there, we need to bring them off the streets, get them out of our lives.
Okay, so that kid's an annoying Trustafarian idiot. But just because he said it doesn't mean it's not going to happen. It turns out a lot of Republicans are now saying they are open to red flag laws. They're upset about mass shootings. Everybody is. Everyone's looking for a way to prevent them. But a red flag law is the answer. If government can simply take away your constitutional rights by deciding you're dangerous and not proving it, then how are they constitutional rights in the first place? And if red flag laws require no criminal charges at all, what will protect you from being abused for political reasons? Last week in San Francisco, the city's Board of Supervisors, remember, designated the NRA and its 5 million members, quote, a domestic terror organization. You think authorities in San Francisco are going to do much to make certain your rights are protected? You think authorities in any big city will? Where's this going exactly? It's worth asking those questions. Dana Lash is an author and nationally syndicated radio host. She's thought a lot about red flag laws. She joins us tonight. Dana, thanks a lot for coming on. So,
of course, Tucker,
this is one of those ideas, it's new. If you hear part of it, it kind of makes sense. You can sort of tell who the crazy people are. We think we can anyway. And some of them have guns, and that's obviously bad. And so why don't we just take the guns away? If you summarize it that way, a lot of people support red flag laws, including a lot of Republicans. You say it's worth thinking through the consequences. What are those consequences?
Well, Tucker, those consequences are great indeed, and it's not just San Francisco. There are even elected members of our House of Representatives that have referred to law-abiding gun owners as, and I quote, domestic terrorists. And these are the individuals that would be implementing this red flag system. First off, the red flag proposals, and I've read the language of the laws in the 17 states that have passed these, including the District of Columbia as well. It's all an inversion of our due process, where you are presumed guilty, and then later on, you know, maybe I think in Indiana on average it's about 9 months. You have your day in court and you can try to get your property back and clear your name if you have been falsely accused. It is an absolute removal of a cornerstone of our republic, and if Republicans right now under the Trump administration, if they support this, Tucker, if they support this and if they go in with the universal background checks and everything else, they will have done more than Barack Obama when he was president to undermine our Second Amendment rights. Is that what they want their legacy to be?
You know, you never go broke underestimating the dumbness of some elected Republicans, particularly in the Senate. But this seems like going pretty far. You think it's possible that you will get on the record Republicans supporting this?
I think so. I mean, there are a number already that have indicated that they will. I mean, Lindsey Graham says that he supports red flag laws. We also have elected officials like Dan Crenshaw who said he's open to the idea of discussing them. And so there's a lot of concern here. What people need to realize is that the way that red flag laws work and the way that they've already been outlined in 17 states is that and the states differ as to who and how many and how close they are to you, who can petition, who can report you. But in some states, pretty much any Tom, Dick, and Harry can report you and say that they think you're dangerous and that you have firearms, and then law enforcement have they're not required to give advance notice. You're talking about serving, you know, no-knock warrants and all of this other stuff. This kind of goes along with that. They can show up, no advance warning. In fact, in Maryland, there was a man killed, Tucker, Gary Willis, a 61-year-old man who was killed when law enforcement showed up at his home before sunrise, knocking on his door, demanding to take his property. He had no idea what was going on. And see, these laws put law enforcement in a very uncomfortable spot, which is why a lot of sheriffs in a lot of different states are saying that they will not uphold these red flag laws also. But we have to think of these consequences. First off, it's dangerous. Secondly, due process is inverted. In many instances, people who are accused, they are, I mean, like I said, Indiana, the law stipulated a 14-day waiting period, but that's on average 9 months. You assume the court costs for clearing your name. There's a Florida man right now named Jonathan Carpenter, whose name was similar to that of a criminal. And even though they know it's not the same person, he still, Tucker, has to go through the court system, pay a lot of money, clear his name to get his property back. We are not thinking of the consequences.
No, we're not. We're not. And we're also not remembering that for the left, this is not about public safety or reducing violence, please. This is about power. Let's not lie to ourselves. Dana, great to see you tonight. Thank you.
Good to see you, Tucker. Thank you.